Oh yeah, that's right. I've read 20 books. And here's what I've learned. We're going to go through each one by one. Because sometimes people don't read. And I know reading is hard. And reading is boring. But I dedicated almost half my life to reading. A lot of time. And now I'm going to tell you what I learned. Liberté, égalité, fraternité. Les Miserables. Do you hear the people sing the songs of angry men? This is the music of the people who will not be slaves again. For the wretched of the earth, this is the flame that never dies. These are the da-da-da-da-da-da-ba-ba. Alright, very first one. The Shadow World inside the global arms trade. This book details the global arms trade, how weapons are moved, and how there's a benefit to certain nations, certain governments, and certain organizations that instigate wars only for profit. And it talks about the massive numbers, billions of dollars of arms deals, and ARs, and not ARs, AK-47s, which is used as the most common rebel weapon, and sent and sold to militia groups all throughout the world. So that's a little brief outline of what this book is about. We got 20, so I need to keep the pace brisk. But this was an eye-opening book to see that wars and violence has a place in the financial market. Then the next one, this is a beautiful one. Elon Musk. Interestingly, with Elon Musk, his lineage is that, now correct me if I'm wrong, it was either his father or his grandfather who started the first chiropractic association within South Africa. That's what I learned from this book. In fact, what happened was Elon Musk started his first company called Zip2. You know what it was? Zip2 was like an online yellow pages, so that businesses could basically be part of the directory, and then they would be able to funnel traffic to their website or to their own businesses. And then he was sponsored and eventually sold out to all of these. Well, he's not sponsored, but his first customers were news agencies like the Daily Mail, the Times, and that's a lot what I learned from Elon Musk. He's a brilliant entrepreneur. Also, what happened was he was part of PayPal, and then he was basically ousted and shunned, and he was actually forced to step down and leave. Elon Musk. This was a great one. This is called Finding My Virginity by Richard Branson. And I want to just stop and dwell on this one for a while. What happened was that one time, and he's spoken about this at length, Richard Branson has multiple books, Finding My Virginity, Losing My Virginity, and he talks about how when he was younger and more or less poor, he wasn't that wealthy, he went to go take a look at an island, roughly $230,000, correct me if I'm wrong with the exact figure. And what happened was, he went from island to island to island with this agency, with the agent. They flew him in a helicopter, and they basically paid for his stay in a villa. And what happened was, he ended up buying that island, called Necker Island. And it was nothing. It was just beautiful beaches, white sandy beaches, beautiful blue skies, and just salty oceans. But there was nothing there. And what happened was he ended up building a house on Necker Island. In the book, it talks about how his house burnt down. And there were notes and scraps and memories and photos that he lost. But there were some that he actually managed to recover. Also, what I picked up from this is that Richard Branson is very close with his mother. He has such a close bond with her, and he loves her. Something else which is interesting is that he started, his first kind of venture was a newspaper. The name of it escapes me, but it was a student newspaper that he was earning money from because he got his first paycheck from advertising. And he said that that first day when he got that paycheck, something in him, something changed. He knew it was possible. And the last thing that I remember from Finding My Virginity, and also other book, which is kind of like part of the sequel, is that he said if there's fun in doing something, if there's fun in earning money, if there's fun in, for him it was his Virgin Records, that it was a place for people to chill and relax, then because there's fun, he will continue doing it. But he says once the fun stops, according to Richard Branson, once the fun stops, you don't continue. Oh, this is a great one. So this is actually a South African classic, which is nice because it's cultural. This is a guy called Lolly Jackson, and he owned these nightclubs with strippers on poles, and he called it, and the back is very inappropriate. They're photos pretty much from the club and all the promo materials. I won't even show you because I do believe it's inappropriate. But this Lolly Jackson started Teasers Club within South Africa. And it talks about his entire story, going from one branch to two branches, to starting a Midrand, Fourways, to being in all of these different locations and expanding his empire. It talks about how he loves to drive supercars. And the one thing that I can remember, which stands out in line with the cars, he talks about how he was driving in his car to work or to the office one day. And he was driving his Mercedes SLK. Or SLK or AMG, but he was driving a serious vehicle and a powerful one. And he saw some guy with he described it as a bottom range Mercedes or a low range Mercedes. And then that guy was hooting at him. And he just said, that guy, with his subpar range Mercedes. Something interesting about Lolly Jackson, what makes him great, is he didn't start with Teasers Club. That only took over later, at a later date. He started with a paving company. And correct me if I'm wrong, I've read these books a long time ago. It could have been called, I believe it was called Universal Paving Company. And that's where he started, and he got trucks. And the most important thing that he did there was he bought this house on a busy-ish road, and he painted it in bright colors, like blue, white, and red, so that it would attract attention. And that also sent that paving business through the roof. Lolly Jackson. Next one. Now this one was a very tough read, and I'm going to be honest with you, I haven't gotten through it. I've at least gotten halfway, but the other ones I've read fully. This is called Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. An interesting little book. I have a question for you. You can maybe pause or write it down if you want to ask. If you want the answer, I'll give it to you as well. So we have a bat and a ball. Think of us on a cricket stadium or in a cricket stand. Now you need to focus because this is from his book. A bat and a ball together cost 105 Rand, and the bat is 100 Rand more than the ball. How much is the ball? Tell me what you think the ball is. And then, if you're really curious, search what he said. A bat and a ball is 105 Rand, a bat is 100 Rand more than the ball. How much is the ball? I want to hear what you think it is. See over here, I've actually had a marker. So I got exactly there, just before halfway. That's one of these things, these mind tricks that Daniel Kahneman talks about, how people just assume a result. And he calls there's a difference in the book called System 1 versus System 2 thinking. System 1 is that knee-jerk reaction. Oh, the ball must be 5 Rand. System 2 does the math. It says a ball is X variable, and the bat is Y variable. X plus Y is 105, or let's say the bat is X, the ball is Y, X plus Y is 105, X plus 100 equals Y. And then we do a simultaneous equation and we solve it. That's System 2 thinking. Right, next. This is a famous book and my favorite, both with X. Shoe Dog by Phil Knight. The only lesson I learned from this, and it's the most important lesson of them all, is called Pay Onitsumu first. What happened was Phil Knight started Nike, and he had borrowed money to pay off his shoe suppliers so that he could sell more shoes. And it was in the order of millions of dollars. The very first thing that he did every single month was pay his creditors because he was borrowing money from them. He paid them. That's what I learned from Phil Knight. He used to sell the shoes out of his boot of his car. He started from nothing, and look at what Nike is today. Fantastic shoes. Next. And I think we're going to end on this because we're running for time now. This is called Superfleconomics. I met an Irish guy and I was telling him about it. He said Superfleconomics. But this is a fantastic book. One little anecdote that I can remember, and I'm going to end on this, from this book, is that these guys like to talk about the science behind it, the statistics, and they were discussing, well, what if you're drunk? What if you like to have a couple of drinks, a couple of beers or ciders, and then you need to get home? Well, what about walking home versus driving home? And they actually said that it is safer to drive drunk than it is to walk drunk, because most of the people can die because they're walking drunk on the pavement and end up in the road. Never drive drunk. Don't even drink I don't recommend it. But that's what I learned from 20 books. We only got through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I apologize. But I need to get to school. Which I'm not in school. Am I in school? Not in school. Mind's going crazy. If you watch till here, you're an absolute legend. What is your answer to the Battle of the Ball question? Stick around for the next. Stick around for the next videos. Okay? Yeah, cool. Bye.